morning. It's Monday, which means it's time for Enterprise at 8. That's right. This is Live Long and Podcast Star Trek Enterprise rewatch series. We are now in the final season of this underrated season. I don't know. Did I just have a stroke?
Well, it was an inflection of some sort.
Yeah, there was like bing, 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 bing. Anyway,
season.
I'm now a French restaurateur. Anyway, it's been about 20 years.
20 years?
It's so much better. It's so much better with the
Yeah,
you distracted me with your French restaurateur and your whole.
Hey, you gotta be ready. That's what you are. You're the.
I was ready, and then you threw me off.
Anyway, it's been about 20 years since tonight's episode. Daedalus
20 years?
Yes, Trip. 20 years. Damn it. Anyway, Daedalus first aired, but we're just getting started here at Enterprise at 8. I'm Jody Simpson. Along with me is my co-host, the man who has traveled everywhere. He's seen everything, and he's currently in, I believe, Calgary. Is it Calgary? Where are you?
I'm in Calgary. Yeah. With these
okay.
great drapes.
Yeah, there.
Calgary is known for its drapes.
I love it.
You know what? It's drape season over in Calgary, and that's where it is. Anyway,
and you can see the airport on here.
Okay, well, there's definitely some lag going on.
He's getting a little bit of lag there, but anyway, that's fine.
He's in laggery.
And of course, joining Adam and I is the Live Long and Podcast awesome producer and the man who can never get an audio cue on time, Dave Mater.
No, it's just the lag. It's the Calgary lag.
We're blaming it on Calgary. Okay. Well,
yeah.
You know what? There's a lot of things that have happened in Calgary, and that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, all I can say, Jody, is you got to get back to hosting tonight.
Now go do your job.
Okay, I'll go do my job. All right.
Anyway. Go do your job.
And of course, rounding out the panel tonight, who could forget the man, the myth, the legend, the man himself, Kevin Millard.
Yeah, everything you've heard. It's all true.
And more.
Not only that, he's also the man that says, I don't give a shit about my air conditioner. It's staying on. I don't care if you guys have to hear it.
We canceled it out. We turned on the...
I admire that.
We have two Adams. Uh-oh.
We have two Adams now. Oh, there's another Adam. Oh. This Adam's wandering. Okay, there he is.
Okay.
Hello, Adam. Are you back with us?
I'm back. One thing about hotels, the Wi-Fi isn't always great. So
yeah, the internet always sucks. Anyway, well, we appreciate you joining us anyway on your travels. As I said, tonight's episode is Daedalus. This is the 85th episode of the series. We're getting there, boys. We're almost at the end.
Halfway through the season, right now, roughly?
We're now exactly halfway through, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there only 20 episodes in this?
Oh, never mind. We're not halfway yet. We're almost halfway.
We're approaching halfway. We're approaching the halfway point.
Yeah. Anyway, this episode is about the inventor of Earth's transporter system comes aboard the Enterprise for an experiment. So, initial thoughts, guys. What do we think?
This is a big nothing. I don't know what Davin is talking about.
Nothing burger?
Boring.
He preemptively jumped into the chat today to say, are you guys going to trash this episode? And we're like, we haven't even seen it yet. What are you talking about? And he's like, well, I'll come in to defend it if necessary. I'm not really sure what there is to defend. But he did throw into our chat just before we started. He gives it an 8.5. Builds out the world well. He likes the transporter and starship rivalry in this episode. I don't really understand what that means because the transporters don't win this rivalry. I can tell you the starships will be prevalent throughout the rest of Star Trek after the 26th.
Was there a rivalry?
Apparently,
he said that there was. It's like one throw-off sentence. It's not even
with his dad. His dad and what's this guy's name? Yeah. The character, Dr. Emery Erickson, right? So him and his dad were pals, and they developed a transporter, I guess, in the warp drive in the same place. As you do. And so
they're supposed to be like family, and I don't even buy that these characters had ever met each other before. Like,
right.
It just is bad.
The only person that I actually, out of the three, like out of the daughter, the doctor, and obviously Archer, I think Archer's the only one that gave us a half decent performance, which is sad. Just sad. Because like the girl is emotionless for most of the episode. And Emery is just like, meh.
Oh, I have to save my son. You know?
Save my son, who is some sort of weird particle thing that stretches people, or something.
Like, and I feel like we've seen these episodes a lot, like the rogue scientists, the
scientist
loose
with
morals,
the alternate idea that has to take the Enterprise, or actually it was the Enterprise in Next Gen as well. So it's one of those things. But yeah, it's a mediocre episode at best, in my opinion. But I'm sure Davin will eventually show up and tell us why we're wrong. But I don't know. You know what? It's not the worst Star Trek, but it's not great.
I would say, this is very mid for me. I feel like this is, right in
the middle there.
I would never want to come back to this. Like, again.
I don't need to watch this episode again.
Yeah. I've seen
and the funny thing is, I remember watching this episode. Well, I at least remember the episode in parts anyway. And I remember, like, when I first turned it on, I'm like, I saw him show up on the transporter pad, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't remember the episode, but it might be all right. So, but we'll see what happens.
Adam?
No, I didn't really like it, but I did like. I like that I like early transporter technology. It's always interesting to me. I remember watching Motion Picture, and when they're trying to get that guy to materialize on the or it was a scene. It was like scary, to see what happened. And, it wasn't working well in the beginning.
Right.
One of the most horrifying screams in Star Trek ever.
Yeah, it's a bone-chilling scream.
Yeah. In the motion picture?
Yeah, in the motion picture.
It's like a Vulcan screaming too, which is
right.
Yeah, it's just it's mind-piercing. It's ugh. Oh, yeah. Jeff Mader, the immortal Jeff Mader. He has said something. Look at it in comments. Enterprise doesn't exist. We disagree.
Does now. It's canon, Jeff. It's canon.
Yeah, it's canon because Kevin acknowledges its existence, so therefore it exists.
Even in this Nothing Burger episode, which helped build out the canon, I think. Maybe. I don't know. This is the guy who invented the transporter, but other species had already invented the transporter too. So it's almost like he just discovered it for humanity. But, I don't know. And Archer starts off the show in the very first episode. They say he wouldn't even let his dog go into this thing. So it doesn't seem like he has this strong connection to the people who developed the transporter.
Well, apparently he does.
Well, yeah, like he played with he played with the girl when they were.
It's
little.
like all these they're all kids growing up with their very smart dads, and now here they are as adults, I guess.
Right. Yeah. There's also a B story in this with Trip and T'Pol to talk about too a little bit, but
which was very disappointing in that story too.
There was a B story. When did this happen?
They progressed. It was a few scenes. Here we got the screenshots. You want to have a look?
Well, we might as well.
All right.
Kind of what we do on this show.
It starts off that they're so Trip is so excited. This Dr. Emery is coming. It's very exciting. It's his hero because because Archer got to meet Zephyr Cochrane once. So this is almost as exciting, we're told. And then, he beams over, and there's a big reveal here. Now, I like this actor who plays Emery.
Yes. Yeah.
I liked him. You got high hopes because of this guy, because he's pretty good.
Bill Cobbs, yeah, he's really good in everything he's always in.
He's always the old guy in a lot of the stuff that he's in, which I think is pretty cool.
Was he in Demolition Man? Is that? Yeah, he was.
Yes.
Yeah, he's Zachary Lamb. Yeah, that's old Zachary Lamb. Yeah,
I can't believe you just made a Demolition Man reference. One of my favorite '90s action movies.
I love Demolition Man.
Me
all
too.
right, yeah, 3 seashells, all of it. Yeah. Anyway,
we don't talk about that though, Dave.
So as teasers go, the Emery and his daughter beam in. They talk, and they're like, I'm here to do some tests, and I'm gonna put you out of a job or something because warp drive won't even matter anymore. And then it's like, it's been a long road, and then we get the credits, right? So,
Kevin liked this more than the episode. This part.
Oh, let's not get crazy. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's
Don't worry, the last episode of this series, Kevin, we're all gonna sing to you.
That'll be amazing.
Yeah, we'll do it like the B sharps. All right.
Promise.
Well,
All right.
You have it's a quartet though, Kevin. That's the funny part. So you have to
You get
be
to
in
participate.
yeah.
We'll see.
So anyway, Trip goes to see T'Pol, who's reading the Kushara while they're in the mess hall. He sits down and says, how are you dealing with the death of your mother, and trying to console her. But she doesn't need any help. She doesn't feel anything. He can kindly, go about his day, and she's fine. So we'll come back to that. Then we cut over to Daedalus, however it's said. There's the dinner here with there's some wine being served at this dinner. This is an old family get together as Bill Cobbs and his daughter, played by Leslie Silva, talk about soon they'll be able to travel light years without the use of any kind of ships, that you'll be able to go from one star system to the next, which I guess was all BS. He was never going to invent this, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
This is all a ploy to get
This is all just a ploy for the most part. Yeah.
Right. So most of this is a waste of our time, unless it's. Did you feel like there's some good character development here, guys? Like in the scene here with good old Bill Cobbs.
Because he's lying.
It was
a lot.
Well, yeah, and it's just the whole performance felt flat to me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, he was better than her, but yeah, it's mostly that.
Oh, she's infinitely more terrible than Cobb.
I think you have to set this up in an episode before this whole and actually,
or at least this should have been like a referenced in a different episode. Like maybe they were having dinner and they were talking about how like Cobb, he grew up with his son and stuff like that. At least in that way there'd be more of a link.
Uncle Emery, when he was
old Uncle Emery, he used to kick me around and try to get me into his transporter, and I always said no, or something like that. Like anything like that would have been good.
Right. Well, this story comes from Ken Lazebnik and Michael Bryant, who I don't remember seeing their names too many times before this. Ken Lazebnik has written what episode did he wrote Borderland in this season, and Alan Brennett. I don't think I've ever seen that name come up before.
Somebody in the chat wanted to know how long before the episodes mirror darkly.
So long. Is it that long?
7 episodes. 7 episodes, guys. I just counted.
Not till episode 17. Yeah. Anyway, so there's this whole dinner sequence, and they have a cheers to the end of Warp Drive. And then so the place they're going is called the Barrens, and we'll find out this is a place that has no star systems, no stars. So it looks like the Void.
I love how dead it is. I do like that, even though it was probably a cost-cutting thing more than anything. But
it gives us some interesting transition shots of the ship.
We get clean shots of Enterprise as well. Like there's nothing.
We'll be told in the episode in dialogue that this is a region with the subspace anomalies are strong here or something, and therefore that's why his son got beamed into this part of space or something through the subspace.
Like a natural subspace node or something like
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
First reference of it in Star Trek that I'm aware of. So,
which pretty much spoils like that right there spoils the entire episode, because at this point you're like, oh, now we know what the entity is going to be when it shows up.
Well, we don't even know there is an entity yet. Like that hasn't even been shown
no,
in
but
the
it's
episode.
coming. Yeah.
But you feel like they would almost tease that in the teaser, but they don't do that. The teasers.
It would have been great if they just
boring.
Remember that teaser?
Yeah.
You remember that teaser in Next Gen where they were having that thing, and then like, well, maybe it wasn't a teaser, maybe it was part of the episode, but it was still cool. Where Picard's walking down the hallway, and then all of a sudden he sees this woman, and she's like half in the hallway, like she's like she's been like absorbed into the thing.
Oh yeah.
Like something like that would have been cool. Archer comes around the walkway, and all of a sudden like somebody's arm is melting. Like that would
like have more of a horror aspect, a scary movie feel to this episode, which it could have. Like they could, like there's the one guy who gets killed, but it's
and his face is like, bleh,
but it's basically an accident, and T'Pol later on with her hand, she'll get exposed to the delta rays as well.
But yet they don't mention anything about the hand after that, eh?
What about the rapport between Trip and Dr. Emery? Do we like that? Did you guys like these scenes where they were playing off each other?
It felt so stupid and forced.
Yeah.
And it just
Gavin, I think we are going to be tearing this down tonight. Sorry, man. I don't think it's.
I don't know how Devin thinks this is an 8.5.
He's hey, that's different strokes.
It is. That's true.
So Archer was showing around. What is her character's name? I forget now.
Her
Danica.
Yeah.
So Danica, he's showing around Danica, who apparently would have made a great Starfleet officer, we're told, but she's always been with her dad because her brother is presumed dead, and therefore she has to stay and take care of him, because he's in a wheelchair and whatever. And he's showing her around, and then we had a private scene here between Emery and his daughter Danica, where she gives him this injection. And we see on his back that it's got all these ripples, and we think he might be some kind of a monster, but it turns out it's not even that interesting. So it turns out to be just he's just been exposed to delta rays, and he's trying to get his son.
Now his spine looks like a Tootsie Roll.
But he's up to something because this room is dark, because the room has the lights are low, so that these two are up to something. That's like what they're going for here.
His face from the lighting. You know he's up to something.
Yeah, this guy is
nothing but bad vibes here.
People don't dim their lights like this.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. I never dim my lights.
They're definitely hiding something.
Unless when I'm plotting
this is what
revenge.
Romulans do.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Wait, when I'm plotting revenge or up to something I shouldn't be doing, that's when my face looks like that, Dave.
Right. Yeah. Adam, welcome back.
Maybe. There he is. Maybe.
Adam, we're just getting to the scene where Reed's ensign got killed by, Quinn, I guess his name was, right? The son?
Yeah.
Because the lights go out, and then there's a scary. This is maybe the only scene I kind of liked, or if that was any interesting at all, because it was kind of like, what's happening? What's going on? And this ensign is looking around with the phaser rifle. I can't find anything. Reed's like, go over there. And then we see this little shimmering kind of energy thing that just comes behind him, and then it seems to get this poor security ensign, who will be killed here in this scene. His face melted off, basically. Look, not fun.
Dave, do I look more evil now?
You do.
Yeah.
Well, you're plotting something. You have a secret. You're not telling us now. There's something happening. So, I think that actually Malcolm right now, being in this dark room, might be up to something. He knows something. He knows that this guy's dead. But soon everyone will know. Oh, and then they go to talk to Dr.
Malcolm
Emery.
was in this episode?
He doesn't even speak that much, but yes, he's in it.
Oh.
But they go to Dr. Emery, and he says, I think what would have to do with anything we're doing in our experiments. So he sort of passes.
It's amazing how many times coincidence happens, and Archer is first on the boat with coincidence. He's like, that's not a coincidence. And it's like, but then this guy is like, oh yeah, this has nothing to do with what I'm doing here. And then he's like, oh, okay.
Right.
At that point before, when you think this episode's going to pick up, all right, we're about to start. We've got the big bad. All right.
Nope.
Nothing. Then
this scene here, more in the dark, the lights are low, and the daughter's saying, we have to tell them, somebody's died now. So, there's a man who's dead. And he's like, we can't do it. You'll condemn your brother to death. But I think that the dialogue's even more vague. We don't even know that we're talking about the son yet. We don't know what's happening because it doesn't. They're not that explicit in how they break it down for us. And then there's a further experiment here on the transporter, and Trip and Dr. Emery, they do this test, which is beaming this probe, I guess, a long distance. I can't remember how it was, light years, I think, that they beamed it. It was kind of a big test, but then
it was 12,000 kilometers or something like that.
Right. So it worked out. Nothing's been transported that far before. And then so Trip's like, let's go get something in the mess hall. And everybody's like, no, leave me here with the computer. Leave me here with the transporter, and you need to go. And I got this all under control. I'll install the whatever. And he's like, no, I don't like that. I like being involved in my own systems. He's like, listen to me. I'm Mr. Big Shot. I have full control of your ship.
True. Trip all the way along knows something's up.
Yeah. Because he doesn't have a personal connection to this guy other than he reveres him as an engineer.
Yeah.
But so then Trip goes to see Captain Archer in his quarters, and they're also dim guys. And so I'm wondering what the secret they're having.
Oh, Archer's up to something too.
Yeah.
This must be Mirror Archer.
What's on those post-it notes that Archer's got going on, like in his room here? Yeah,
those are his schemes.
Polished polo ball.
Your plots are barely Where's that?
Polished ball. Throw ball against wall.
Don't make me scoff. Your plans are barely even schemes.
That's for the Romulans. On the most recent lower decks. Your plots are barely even schemes. Anyway, so Trip warns Archer about this, that he thinks there's something up with Emery. That this death is suspicious, and then there's more anomalous activity detected. T'Pol calls Archer, and then they go searching for this thing, which of course it finds T'Pol and Archer in this core. In like this looks like the chamber to go to decon almost or something. Anyway,
probably the same set.
Probably the same set. Anyway, so it goes through the door here, but it manages to catch T'Pol on the hand, as we mentioned. And I love how she was like kept scanning it herself, and Phlox had to like get her out of the way. That was like a nice touch.
That was about one of the only scenes in this episode that I thought was actually good.
Yeah.
He's like, stop it. Just put it down for 30 seconds.
Yeah, I like that. Just that's a little nuance thing that it made it better. Yeah. And so they're looking at the footage, and we see it's like this, I don't know, like wobbly ghost thing. Until like enhance it a little more, Trip. And we see
they did the old CSI thing where they're like enhance.
It's him. It's Quinn. From all those years ago.
How the hell are they looking at Gooey Boy here, thinking that that's Quinn?
Well, Archer knew him, so he can tell.
He can tell by the fact that like he barely has a face.
That's what we're led to believe. Yes.
All right.
And then Archer confronts Emery about this. It's and he admits that they're trying to save him, and that he only needs to do one more test. Eventually, throughout this conversation, he says, like, are we going to condemn him to death and leave him out here? And so eventually Archer comes to the conclusion that he'll help, but he's under duress. He's not happy about this situation, but feels like if they're out here, they ought as well try, because he has a connection to Quinn.
Makes sense.
So, some more talk. Okay. I like it. And I love this shot here. It just ends with Archer.
Really dark. He must be up to something.
Yeah, but like Archer has his face in his hands.
And he's got the old Batman facepalm thing going on.
Yeah, I can't believe he's doing this. He talks to Trip and T'Pol in the ready room, and they're like, "We can't be helping him. A guy's dead because he's lying to us." And and basically, Archer explains that we're doing this. We're going to do this, and you have your orders. Get the hell, go do your job. Well, this isn't the time he says it, but basically that's what he says.
Now go do your job.
Now go do your job.
Go do your job.
Stop questioning my orders all the time. I'm sick of this shit. I'm Captain Archer. I'm famous.
Wasn't he just in a good mood like last week?
Yeah, well,
when your lifelong buddy there decides he's going to lie to you, then things go bad.
Yeah, he has to explain that his crewman died to the family, but he's like, well, like my old relative guy showed up wanting to save his son from like a transporter accident, and then.
So you remember when we were doing the original series, and I always said like Kirk was so unemotional about losing his own team.
Yeah,
it was almost like that in this one too, because and the guy died horribly.
Right. Well, and he's not the first one they've lost. They lost a lot more people in the Xindi crisis, but it's a very meaningless death, right, for this guy. So it's so
they mention it a lot, like it's in the dialogue a lot, but you don't buy that any of them care.
No, you don't.
That's right. You don't. Like even his sister should be like super like into the idea of getting him back, but like she's even like, no, we shouldn't be doing this.
I feel
I'm talking about the crewman.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about what's her name.
Yeah, I think Trip is like he tries to express his disapproval towards Emery and his actions and having got that guy killed. Then there's this scene here with what's her Danica goes to see Archer and
award-winning performance from Porthos.
Oh yeah, she's like, oh, he has so much energy in life. And the dog is literally
and the dog's like,
you know, and
best actor.
He's a bagel.
And Archer goes, and he has an appetite to match. I'm like,
the sad thing is though, he actually did act better than some of the other players in this episode. Like,
I would
he's
believe
a dog.
I would believe it more if it was just a stuffed dog at this point. Like it was just like,
yeah. Well, and you can see he's not even looking at her, right? Like he's looking at obviously the person who is the breeder or whatever, right?
Yeah,
and he's like he's waiting for his cue to drop, right?
Yeah,
so
it was just like whatever. Well, yeah, it's just like the dog wasn't cooperating that day. Whatever. What do you want from us, guys? We had to wrap the episode. So
they're like, that's the best take we got. We're doing that one.
This conversation here between Danica and Archer in his quarters about getting the brother back and him. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter, but it happened.
It doesn't matter. You know what? That perfectly sums up this episode. It doesn't matter.
Maybe here's something that does matter.
Okay.
T'Pol and Trip have another conversation in engineering in between those scenes where he's like, hey, I'm planning another movie night. Remember those? And, do you want to watch I think a horror or a science fiction movie or something like that? And she's like, I won't have time. I'm reading Kashara. He's like, there's more to life than your stupid Vulcan Bible. And maybe you can come watch movie night sometime. And she's not having it.
But realistically, she's been through a lot recently. So kind of makes sense that she's kind of like refining her faith, or at least, trying to figure out her faith.
She's newly divorced. Don't forget too.
Newly divorced. She's lost her mother.
Yeah.
All
her entire value system has been reevaluated now, right? With Kashara.
I'd rather have a whole episode dedicated to this part.
Absolutely.
I would have too. And that's where I don't think they gave this the attention that it needed.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. This
right.
is just, I barely remember it.
Part. Yeah. And I love this whole like Vulcans having an enlightenment.
Right.
I fucking love that. Why are we doing this?
You gotta say this guy's son who we've never heard of before, never will again. Right? It's just kind of, I don't know. Doesn't feel like that. I agree. Like I'm more invested in the Trip into Paul's story. So when these scenes come up, I'm like, okay, well, this happened. And so anyway, she's not coming to movie night. That's where that ends. And then back here in the shuttle bay, this is where they're going to run their next test, I guess, with Emery to try to save him. And he ends up coming out of the wall and nearly just exploding the entire console, and Archer has to push him out of the way just in time.
Well, and Trip is like, he wasn't that far away from the torpedoes. Like,
could have blown up the entire ship. Yeah. And so this is the next scene where Archer just, Trip's like, this needs to stop. You're putting everything too close here.
Trip, you're putting your personal feelings before the safety of the ship. You are this close to insubordination. Insubordination? I've made a decision. It's the right decision. And the discussion is over. Can you accept that? Now go do your job.
I don't know if it's the right decision. I don't know about that.
This close to insubordination. If he's saying that, he's already crossed that line.
Yeah.
I
think if anybody, it's Archer.
But had Trip crossed the line?
Absolutely not.
No.
I've seen way worse. From
way
Chakotay.
Worse. He's not even close to the line.
Chakotay alone has done way worse than this.
Yeah, I've seen way worse from
Chakotay basically told Janeway on many occasions how completely incompetent she was.
He's like, "You're wrong, Catherine. It's wrong."
He's like, "You're bloody incompetent." Basically,
he never used those words, but
no, he didn't use a competent, but
he would say she was completely morally wrong,
morally wrong,
in this situation or that. But I digress. And Trip's not his first officer, but it was a lot. So Archer's under a lot of stress here, maybe even more stress than he was during the Xindi crisis for some reason, because this is his long lost best friend, who he thought was dead, but maybe he's not, and maybe he can save him. And he's working. He goes to see to Emery here for another scene, which doesn't matter, and then over to the final. This is the final attempt to try to bring Quinn back. in the transporter, which is, at first it seems to be going okay. They think that there's going
It reminded me of Relics.
Relics. Yeah. Or
that was a way better episode.
Yeah, it was.
Well, like we know it's possible to stay in a transporter beam for a long time, but not like this. It seems like not. Phlox just takes a little reading while he can kind of scan him while he's materializing, and in that process,
like it's not good.
It is not good, guys.
Yeah,
If he
Phlox is like, no.
Like I thought, if anything, like when he does like finally materialize and die, I'm like that should have happened faster, or it should have been more like extreme, or the effect should have been.
I wanted to see it where he was all completely like goo.
He should have melted like the other guy. Like he should have melted like the delta rays or something, but
he
doesn't. Because it's supposed to be a heartfelt moment, I guess. But anyway, it's not going great. And Phlox is like, if he materializes, he's dead. And Emery doesn't want to accept it. He's like, no, we have to keep trying. But eventually, Archer and the rest, they kind of talk him down and convince him they have to let go. And stuff. So he finally just lets him materialize, even though he knows it will kill him. Better, he says later, better to leave him not living or somewhere between life and death.
Well, he's got a body to bury now.
Oh, however, if you had left him there, who knows? In a few thousand years, they could potentially save him. But
okay, this whole scene, what a shocking lack of emotion from everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even the dying guy, almost no emotion. Like,
right.
Like this is supposed to be her brother and Archer's old best friend. They should be sad even a little bit.
Right. Maybe have a funeral for him. No,
just sad in the moment. They're just not.
The acting quality in this episode is very similar to that movie, The Room.
Right.
Ever seen that?
Lisa,
Lisa, you're tearing me apart.
I'm familiar. Oh, come on, they look sad.
No, they don't.
They're looking down. They're
don't
look
down.
sad.
Yeah.
They're looking at what's happening.
Archer has a little bit of a remorse look on his face, I guess, but she almost looks happy.
Relieved? I don't know.
That is supposed to be the big emotional moment, and nobody told the actors.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've said a lot of good points here. There's the final scene here between Emery and Archer where Emery's like, I'm probably going to be prosecuted based on getting that guy killed. Based on
maybe I'll teach.
Yeah, maybe I'll become a teacher.
Teach. Yeah, that's
teach kids in jail, I guess, or something.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
One thing we've learned is that in the future, crime does pay.
It does. Right. It does a lot.
Yeah. Julian Bashir's dad was going to work on all his drawings and stuff, right? In jail, he was like, "This would be great." Maybe jail's not so bad in the Star Trek times. There's another scene here too in sickbay after all this, where Phlox really confirms to Paul that she's completely clean now of her Benar syndrome, that it's been cured based on the mind meld that T'Pau gave her in the 3-parter that we just came out of, and how relieved he's like, yeah, you had an incurable disease and now you don't. Isn't that great?
Yeah, but again, this scene again shows how much we could have done with this episode.
Yep.
It could have been a T'Pol focused episode. It really could have been.
Right. I don't think they needed. I feel like they thought they needed this mystery and this excitement, these action beats, I guess, with this other storyline. But it was.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, if T'Pol was the A story in this episode, the other one could. I think we would all like the episode a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, this is near the end. I think T'Pol goes to see Trip in engineering, and she says that she's not doing okay, that she's working through some issues, which she also kind of had explained to Phlox in sickbay in the scene earlier, that he's like, well, you're reevaluating all your core beliefs. Whoever does that, in their lifetime, of course you're going to be questioning things and dealing with a lot. So she kind of admits that, and Trip's like, I know you're you, and so it seems like she's opening up to him a bit more.
Trip is the hero of this episode. He puts up with all of Archer's shit. He puts up with all of the Doctor's shit. And then on top of that, he gets shit on by her after. Like it's like
in the beginning of the episode, she goes, "Hey, are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah, leave me alone." Right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, but I think he knows that, she just needs a little bit of time and she'll be back.
Oh yeah, he's good. He's taking it in stride. Like when she walks away, he's like, "Well, my engines still need me." Right?
he's got that.
He's all right.
Yeah, I guess he's doing all right. And yeah, there's a little smile here as she walks away.
That's the most emotion in the episode. That little smile.
Yeah, it's pretty much. And this is the ship that comes to pick up Emery and Danica is called the Sarajevo. We're told. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a Starfleet ship or not, but
I don't know.
I can't quite tell. It's called they say the Sarajevo's here, and so they beam out and. There's
sorry, Dave. Can I just go back a bit? The what's her name? Danica.
Danica.
She, Archer talked about, she belongs out here, and that would have been more interesting if she actually stayed and let him go and face the music.
Right. Or she's like, I'm going to Starfleet Academy when I get home or something. I don't know. Yeah. There could have been something.
According to Memory Alpha, the United Earth Sarajevo type transport. That's what it is.
United Earth. So it's just a civilian ship.
It's a civilian ship, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it says the operator is Starfleet, but it's United Earth that owns it.
Okay. So it is a Starfleet ship. Okay.
Appears to be a Starfleet ship, yeah.
All right. And okay. And so yeah, I don't know. There's a little handshake between Emery and Trip. I don't know. And they leave, and then this goodbye. I don't know. I don't know if it was supposed to be romantic or if they were trying to set this as a potential romantic thing in the future. I thought he was going
I
for
don't
Captain.
think so.
I thought he was with Captain Hernandez now. And I was confused, but
woman in every port, Dave.
Woman in every port. That's why he likes being out here in the stars. Anyway, they leave and they walk down the hall towards movie night, I think. And I can't really remember what the final beat of the episode is, but that's the story.
So,
that's the screenshots.
So this has been, when we don't like an episode, it's like less than 40 minutes that we talk.
Yeah, we're at 38 right now. And that includes my long drawn out intro and calling out Dave and a whole bunch of
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we were kind of meandering at the beginning.
Guys, I had the ability to create a graphic for this while we were talking. That's how bored I was. So
I'm trying to see
in honor of Kevin, I've added a new overlay, which is now called the Nothing Burger. That's right. It's the Nothing Burger.
Sam.
Or you should have, Dave. Sorry, Jody. You should have one piece of lettuce because that's all it had. It was this episode was just a lettuce. There's nothing there.
Well, we might have to use it again when Kevin says it's another Nothing Burger.
Adam, did you know there's a town in Alberta called Vulcan?
I've been.
I know. But Sam was asking, and yes, you've been there. It's actually a thing on our Facebook page.
Yeah, I think it is on the Facebook page actually.
So I do have a couple facts on this if you guys want to stretch this out just a little longer.
Oh, sure, why not?
But first, they want to know when you're coming to Newfoundland. When are you playing in Newfoundland?
When do you play?
Who, Sam?
Yeah.
When are you playing Newfoundland?
The fans want to know.
Well, Sam, I got to tell you, I'm not coming until probably next year when it's warmer again. We're going into the bad season there.
All right. Right. Okay.
You can get stuck in Newfoundland.
Yeah, you can get stuck there. So, and then you're new. Anyway, let's get into the fun
facts. Can you guys hear me now or no?
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh yeah, we hear you.
All right. So the title, which is Daedalus, refers to a great Greek artisan who angered the gods and escaped with his son using wings made of feathers and wax. His son Icarus flew towards the sun. His wings melted and he fell from the sky and was killed.
I thought
this episode represents the first time that the inventor of the transporter had been officially established, seen, or mentioned. So, Dave, you mentioned canon. This is when it started.
All right.
A bit of an irony here. Many of the objections to the original transporter, as described by Erickson. Remember when at the beginning of the episode, he was talking about all the objections he felt or had?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
During one of the initial conversations came true throughout Star Trek lore. So psychosis, we've had copies, it's all true. The transporter is dangerous.
Yeah. Because we've seen most of those were even in Next Gen. Like it was like psychosis was one of them. And
Thomas Riker,
obviously.
Riker.
Clone
yeah.
movie.
It seems like, yeah, like you could get two vixed, like we just saw in Lower Decks.
Yep.
Long-range transportation appears to be achievable, as in the Delta Quadrant species, Sicarians have a similar technology as established in Prime Factors in 1995. Dominion transporter technology has been shown to be capable of transporting a person over distances up to 2 or 3 light years, as seen in the Covenant. In Star Trek, transwarp beaming enables a person to be transported among the planets or a star system, such as the Taita to the Narada, which was orbiting the Earth at the time. There was also long-range alien transports in Assignment Earth and the Gamesters of Triskelion. Remember that
Don't forget
one
about the
episode?
Iconian gateways too.
Yep.
Oh, right. Yep.
And
This episode has a resemblance to Jetrel, meaning where Mabor Jetrel deceives the Enterprise, the crew of the U.S. Voyager into using their transporter in his attempt to revive Talaxians who dissolved from the Metrian Cascade that he created. So I need to go back and look at that episode. In this episode, Erickson says after developing the transporter, he had no place to go but down. In the original series episode, The Ultimate Computer, McCoy says of Daystrom,
Oh yeah.
where do you go from up? So basically these giants of technology, have no place to go once they've done their initial invention, right?
Right.
This episode also resembles The Ultimate Computer, like Dr. Emroy, and visiting Dr. Daystrom conducts experimental search on board a ship, also called the Enterprise, and comments that if his research is successful, they'd have no need for such ships in the future. Dr. Daystrom also notes that after his early success, his life has consisted of endless attempts to recapture his former glory. And the making of the episode follows the release of the non-canon Wildstrom comic graphic novel Forgiveness, which also involved an inventor of the transporter as well. So there's one interesting goof that I liked. Just give me a second here.
It wasn't Tuvix, was it?
No.
Doesn't anyone see that this is wrong?
I had to say that. I'm sorry.
It came in handy the other night when we did the Tuvix episode in Lower Decks.
Yeah, I guess.
So Emery Erickson uses an old-fashioned manually operated wheelchair, yet the design of the Enterprise doors, whose openings aren't flush with the floor, makes the entire ship wheelchair inaccessible. So how does Erickson move from compartment to compartment with his wheelchair? Wheelchair can't go through the doors.
With his daughter.
She has to pull it over each groove.
I never even thought of that. Yeah, that's a good point.
That happens in Deep Space Nine, where Laura has to. She's like, "Who built this space station with a segment between every section so that no wheelchairs can go?"
Well, on an earlier ship, it makes sense because you want to be able to seal bulkheads.
You think you have a Professor X, a hover wheelchair by that point, but apparently not.
Yeah, it's yeah. Remember the episode where Admiral Jameson, I think his name was, came on board, and he was very old, and then he started regenerating.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
he had a pretty cool wheelchair, if I remember.
Yeah, but you think that's how, sometimes in the future, one of these things that we can't seem to.
Even Pike's BP chair floats.
Right, because I don't know, but it was there was some inconsistencies that it's not a handicap accessible ship. The Annex 01.
Nope. I guess it wasn't important when this was made, as important as it is today, for sure.
No. Is that your final?
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you, Adam. For that, let's go into our ratings and decide what this is worth to us, guys. Jody?
Not 8.5.
8.5. Gavin has started off strong here. This is going to be one of the best episodes of the season, perhaps, if we can all put our ratings in.
Is that what Davin said?
Davin, this is completely sincere.
Wild, eh?
Yeah.
This is like freaking minefield again.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a... Well, I'm just trying to look at other episodes and trying to compare here.
What did you give Minefield?
You know what? Home was What did I give Minefield? I think I gave it a 3.
Minefield's back in season 2. You give it a 2.
I gave it a 2. Wow.
I liked it okay.
Not as bad. Well, Minefield is pretty bad.
I gave it a 7, but you guys, so I'm not even going. I like Minefield way better than this episode. So
me too, and that's the sad thing.
So it's got to be 1 for you, or at least 1.5, right, Jody? Like if you like it less.
Yeah, that's the problem. Come back to me. Let me think about it.
Adam?
Well, I'm giving this a 5. It was okay, but I don't want to watch it again. I can tell you that.
Yeah, me either. And because I wouldn't want to watch this again. It's a 4.9. It's not even mid. It's just
not even mid.
it's one dash down. Kevin?
4. This episode sucks.
4 from Kevin and Jody.
You know what? I'm gonna give it a 3.5. And can we go back up to Minefield for a second?
Sure.
Can you change mine?
What did I give Minefield?
You gave Minefield a 0, Adam.
I really hated it.
I did too. I also gave it a 0.
So what did I give this episode?
3.
I just gave this one a 3.5, right?
Oh, 3.5, yeah.
Okay, so Minefield is 3.6.
3.6.
Yeah.
All right.
It was all Malcolm, and it bothered the crap out of me. That guy who's supposed to be Starfleet security, and he's whining on that ship.
He likes to whine.
As soon as there was a pee in the spacesuit joke, 0.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, so Davin is really bringing out this average for tonight with his 8.5. So we're sitting at a 5.2. But if it was just the 4 of us, we'd be averaging much less here. Hold on. A 4.4. So season 4, I don't think is going to beat out season 3 at this point.
I don't know. There's a lot of pretty good episodes coming.
We're gonna have to have like 10. Like we're gonna have to have some great episodes, and we know the finale is a complete stinker. So it's gonna be a fight.
Hey, I don't know that yet. I might love it.
You might love it. I'm telling you, I hate it.
Sam wants to know if it's Assignment Earth and Miri bad.
Those are both great episodes. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Miri's okay. Okay. Assignment Earth is like not even a Star Trek episode. It's like
here we go.
It's a whole other.
I completely agree with Dave. It is not a Star Trek episode. It was a Star Trek an episode length episode, which was just a promo for another show. That's all it actually was.
But I really liked it. I love the character Gary 7. I like the idea of the cat. I thought it was great.
You and Ted can go have a drink and talk about it.
Well, like I get that some people like it. It's just like I'm glad it didn't become a thing. So that's all I'm saying.
And Miri is just so questionably bad.
Miri's just kind of creepy in retrospect because Kirk is
Miri.
What did I give Miri? Can we bring that back up, Dave?
Miri, sure.
That was the whole. I remember this because Kirk was a little creepy towards like this 15-year-old girl.
Really creepy.
Miri, okay? Jody, where are you? You gave it a 4.5.
All right, so it turns out I like Miri more than this episode. What did I give Assignment Earth?
Because it was interesting. We reviewed that during.
I know I got yelled at by Ted during Assignment Earth.
Assignment Earth, you gave a 2.5.
Yes, and it deserves every little bit of that 2.5. It is a terrible episode.
No, it's so great.
Yeah, well,
actually, Dave gave it a 2. He did it even worse than me.
I know he doesn't like it.
I don't like it. Not everyone likes it, but I give it a 9. Adam gave it an 8. So, and Jeff gave it a 4.5.
That was the episode where I was called an idiot.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think you're an idiot. Well, anyway, go back. There's a short clip of it somewhere.
Glory to Minefield.
Glory to Minefield. Okay, back to Enterprise. But currently, guys, we're this episode also has a pretty low rating on IMDb, so we're not alone in not liking this episode. It is a 6.2 in IMDb, which is low for most of the ratings you see. Like nothing.
So, Dave, I'm willing to bet you want to know what the next episode is.
Yes, sir. What is it?
All right, it is Observer Effect, a pair of non-physical Organians That's actually what it is. Organians study the response of an Enterprise crew to the infection of Hoshi and Tucker by a fatal silicon-based virus brought on board during an away mission. I remember this episode. It's actually
Organians.
Organians.
Like, from the Errand of Mercy.
You got it.
Okay. So they're back. Okay, I have not seen this episode before.
Oh well, then you're in for a treat. It's not a bad episode. I can tell you absolutely wholeheartedly, you'll like this episode better than this. You'll like the next episode better than this one. And that's not hard.
I hope so.
Does it have any guest stars, or is it just?
This one is. I don't think there is any guest stars in this one.
No, it's Hoshi and Trip.
It's
our main
Hoshi and
characters
Trip
in this one.
being basically sick.
I guess this was technically a bottle episode too, wasn't it?
Well, this one probably is a bottle episode. Yeah, the next one probably also a bottle
Do
episode.
they end up in the chamber where they're putting the goo on each other?
No,
I don't remember.
Oh, you mean
I
the
don't
next
think
one?
they do that anymore. Didn't we already mark the last time they do the
goo?
Oh, I think there was a fun fact.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, where like this is the last time they goo up each
But
other.
you know what? The IMDb rating on next week's episode is 7.8. It's pretty high.
Pretty high. So there you go. So I think we're gonna like it better, guys. So they can all
But
be winners.
there's so much more to like in this world, Dave.
You're so right, Jody.
Thank you.
Well, even on this very channel, Live Long and Podcast, which
On
just
this one?
that's right. This one,
wow,
it just went over 400 subscribers.
400.
We're at 400 and something, 6.
That's like 395 more subscribers than I thought we would have.
Yeah, well, we used to only have 5. You're right, and
it was all of us.
It was us. But now there's there's hundreds of people. Maybe soon
we're
to
moving
be,
on up.
We're moving on up to the east side for a little piece of the pie, as they say. Okay, but Live Long and Podcast. Check us out. We have all kinds of great shows. Right now, we're currently covering Lower Decks season 4. Davin and I were on with Derek Tyler Attico and Murphy on Thursday to cover the first 2 episodes of season 4. We'll be back on this Thursday, the 3rd episode of season 4. I'm not sure what it's called yet, but we'll be talking about that. Also, Davin just did Debate 9 with we had Jeff Aiken over here from the Starfleet Academy podcast, and who else was on that show? Oh yeah, Puxley was on there, and then there was also the trivias we had done recently as well. There's some trivia challenges. There's a Champions Edition coming. I'm told I might have to face Merrick. It doesn't matter. He'll be defeated.
You sir are a champion.
I am. I'm the champion of champions when it comes to Star Trek trivia. I based on Merrick's previous results, I'm not concerned. Merrick, I know we haven't met, so I feel like it's bad that I'm trash talking, but
I got it.
Yeah. David says we're a bunch of grumps.
What a bunch of grumps.
grubs. David always is grumpy about stuff that we're high on.
Bonk on the head.
Like grubs.
I'm surprised he rated it so high. There wasn't even a single Klingon.
I love that he said that.
Yeah.
I love Miri.
No,
Miri's a great
he
episode. Thanks, Davin. You made my day.
He wrote grumps.
He did.
Oh,
He
that's too
doesn't
bad.
like Miri. Davin barely likes the original series at all. He certainly doesn't like Miri. So that's my prediction, at least. I haven't actually asked him. Okay, but we're part of a United Federation of podcasts. This channel is, which is, Davin and I and Murphy and Andre and many others and Jaemeel. We have a whole bunch of different channels and shows, like Super Mater Brothers Podcasting, where we cover shows like Survivor. Survivor 45, guys, starting on September 27th. Watch out. We'll be talking about that. 90-minute episodes now. They're not even an hour. They're an hour and a half before
45. 40 freaking 5. Unbelievable.
Season 45. I was just watching season 30 earlier with Jane.
but they have like 5 seasons a year. Like
2 seasons a year.
I can't even keep up.
Well, it's not that hard. They only do 13 episodes a season, so there's only like 26 episodes a year. So it's not, it's not too bad. But Big Brother, season 25, we're in the middle of covering as well. We're into week 6, guys. We're almost near the jury phase. Only like another 60 days to go in the Big Brother 25 house. Are you guys excited? No.
Yeah.
The Mary Marvel
No.
Society, where you can check out our MCU reviews over there.
Is
Speaking
the
of
MCU still a thing?
It's still a thing for now. And then the X-rated X-Men the Anime Review Show with Davin and Andre on Tuesdays. They're only got 5 episodes left in the original run of that cartoon, and then they're going to be moving on whenever the new X-Men 97
I
comes
think they're
out.
going to cover the movies, and then they're going to go to the new series.
Okay, yeah, they got some new things coming up. Andre Mayette has his Graphic Histories podcast where he interviews people from all forms of entertainment, comic book, the con scenes, audio only. Check that out wherever you get your audio podcast. And Hold Up, a movie podcast with David and Andre. I'm going to be on the season 2 premiere, guys. Watch out for that. I think we're talking space movies. Space movies. We're doing Outland with like Sean Connery and like Apollo 13. And then some Brad Pitt movie where he's in space.
Oh, Ad Astra.
Oh,
yeah, that's
Mars Bucket.
Yeah, Ad Astra. So we're doing that one. So check that out. That'll be coming out in October. Eamon on track. Looking to do more music reviews. I told Eamon to contact Davin today. Looking to do another episode over there. And trivial debates as well. I don't have the generic card, but this was our Office episode.
That was the last
recently.
one.
Yeah, but James Elkins is not that guy in the middle.
Nope.
But that's all right.
But that's also an Office joke. So
yeah, but yeah, I just clipped out that one the 10 minutes where you guys had the TV round. That video is doing pretty well on the channel. So you should check that out.
TV round. What was the
one where you just the best episode of The Office?
Oh well,
in that episode,
I was right in that episode.
And the Hellbound podcast, back from a hiatus, people. They're talking horror, they're talking scary movies. You need to check it out, and then all of the great content from the United Federation of Podcasts. Thanks so much.
I don't want to draw attention to it, but I think Adam might be scheming.
Oh, scheming?
Definitely
the room is very dark now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't know a scheme from a conspiracy.
Oh, we lose them?
Oh. No.
Our sinister plans will have to wait.
Our sinister plans. Well, welcome back, Adam, with your sinister plans.
He's definitely scheming.
You will know.
Yeah, I'm scheming.
Right.
How dare you? Of course I crave your demise, but not like silence.
That's
in the most recent one. All right. Well, thanks everyone. And on that note, I'll play out Live Long and Podcast, and we will not be dealing with this insubordination.
And you are this close to insubordination. I've made a decision. It's the right decision. And the discussion is over. Can you accept that? Now go do your job.
See you next time.
Your job.